Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of 3 Pints and a Clean Sheet.
Morning.
Episode 1 has been uploaded to Spotify, and it's quite mental seeing it, but if you're new, go and check it out for us, that would be much appreciated. But yeah, this is episode 2. We are significantly lighter in folk today. We've only got 2 of us, 2 pints anyway, because Greg is on his holidays.
Holly Bob's in the US of A.
No, he's on tour. So, last week we discussed some World Cup issues. We talked about Qatar and such. And this week we're going to have a more Scottish focus, and we're going to be talking about the current crisis at Rangers.
Your team?
Yes, my team. Yes, so if I get a bit emotional,
Clap it.
saying out. Yeah, so we're going to talk about Rangers to start with. So go for it, Kyle. You've got a list of things where we're going to talk about. I can't believe I've just sprayed that all over my monitor.
That was rather silly, to say the least.
3 pints and a dirty monitor now.
Suits me.
Right, go.
Yes,
right. Go for it.
We'll start off with something maybe like current form. How's the current form sitting in your books?
Well, it's just not good enough, is it? I mean, the European catastrophe being the worst team in group stage history.
Well, that's not a good record to hold.
No, and it's not. Because going from Europa League finalists last year, beating the likes of Dortmund, Leipzig, Red Star, who was the other team?
Braga.
You just think about it and you go from that to getting absolutely scudded. I mean, I was at the Napoli game at Ibrox and I was at the Liverpool game at Ibrox, and I'm pretty sure I saw 10 goals conceded. I'm sure the Napoli game was... Yeah.
That's not bad, just in Scott Arfield.
I mean, the ecstasy when Scott Arfield scored to then think, right, we're in for a chance, and then watch another 7 goals go in was quite disheartening. But yeah, and I mean, league form's nothing really to talk about either, because obviously beat by St Johnstone, then a draw at the weekend. Was it?
9 points adrift for Celtic.
At this stage of the season, being 9 points adrift is not acceptable.
I mean, he's only lost 2 games, but 3 draws.
He has, and one of them was obviously to Ange Postecoglou's Celtic, who are on very good form. But 9 points is a big drop. Yeah, obviously the second team. I think they said 9.
9 what? No, sorry. They're 6th place. St Johnstone.
Alright, I was talking about points still.
No, league's over.
No, there's still a chance, but it's looking grim. And the big, obviously, conversational point at the minute is, does Gio survive the World Cup break?
Well, that's my next point. Is
go on then.
No, it's just Gio in or Gio out.
Personally, I think he'll. I don't know if I want him in or out. I did say out after the last result in frustration, but you have to bring it back a wee bit and look at it from a wider perspective and see that I don't know if it's actually his fault. I mean, it's his fault putting the team out, but there's been a lack of investment.
That's down to him as well, though, because he can give.
Yeah, but I think. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
I was finished. He didn't replace Rebo nor Bassi.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah, when you've got a, what was it, 41?
Fucking pensioner.
Yeah, no, exactly. So you think about it, but I don't know. I think there's a wider issue there. I think it kind of stems back to the board. A lot of people calling for Wilson to go as well. It's just, it looks, considering how promising last season was, I think it's just a completely different issue now, and I don't know. But I feel like with Rangers and Celtic, it kind of goes in, it's kind of like a roundabout, isn't it? Like one club builds himself up, one's having the banter years, as they would probably call it. Obviously, Rangers had more banter years with going down to Division 3, but obviously when Rangers won 55, Celtic were having their downfall with Lennon, and then thingy.
Oh no, it wasn't. Sorry, I thought it was Rodgers.
Nah, Rodgers.
He left.
Yeah, Rodgers left. I forgot that Rodgers left when Gerrard was in. I was thinking it was before Gerrard came, but I think because I watched the well, I've not finished watching it, but part of the BT video, the interview with Beale, and they were saying that like they were obviously the first team to beat Celtic in a while, but obviously the Warburton Cup win semi-final, cup game win. I mean, they didn't win it at the end.
Penalties.
Yes, after Barry Mackay scored that screamer.
And Paddy Roberts scalped the post about 1 yard out.
Yeah, I think it was harder to hit the post from that.
It was absolute sour, some would say.
It was a humdinger, so to
Easy to
speak.
miss.
Yes, I definitely would have tapped that in at the Palmerston Arena.
I've had a few of them in my time.
Yeah, so I think to go back to what I was saying, I think it is the board that's the issue as well. But obviously, manager takes the brunt of it. But his teams haven't been good enough. His tactics, like you say, his tactics haven't been good enough.
But I mean, there's an injury crisis in the centre half area.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. Actually, when you look at Connor Goldson, who probably never missed anything, barely missed a few, but he'd barely been injured to now out for months. And
Hollander's dead.
Hollander's always been injured. I mean,
He's dead pretty much.
Pretty much. Well, there was him, but the bit that baffles me is that they let Balogun go, who was perfectly good for the job. Proved it last season, but there was for some reason didn't want to keep him on.
Arguably better than Goldson.
Don't know about that, but definitely better than the rest.
I watched him in Europe. It was quite impressive. I would have said
Yeah,
better than Goldson. Scored more
and he
goals.
was playing well at QPR.
They're doing quite well. Don't know where they are in the league, so to speak, but they're doing all right with Big B League.
But to speak about Beale, obviously he's one of the favourites to possibly replace Gio if he was to go. But I don't think he will.
That's one of the folk I've got jotted down for.
I won't nip ahead. I
think that's our next
What
point.
do you think then? What's your view on the situation?
Well, I'm not as big a fan as you, so I don't have as many opinions. Alas, I think Gio has to go.
I was speaking to a fellow Rangers fan the other day, and we were saying we're talking about the kind of issue, and I was saying a lot of people have been throwing Davy Martindale, obviously the Livingston manager's, name in the hat. I mean, I don't think. Don't get me wrong, doing a great job at Livingston, but I just don't think there's a difference between keeping a team up in the league to then coming into a team the size of Rangers and
big Rangers fan.
Win the league. Yeah, and that's the point. But also no European experience. But I suppose you're never going to get European experience if you don't. I mean, get the opportunity.
Neither did Gerrard. Neither did Van Bronckhorst.
Yeah, I think Van Bronckhorst had it Feyenoord.
Well,
Gerrard definitely didn't. Yeah, Gerrard definitely didn't.
But Gerrard's played in those games. So.
Yeah, that's a good point, to be fair. Right, what's your next point then?
Well, I've got some maybe potential suitors. One of them was Davy Martindale.
Possible takeover if he was to go.
One was Davy Martindale, so you've talked about him and not good enough at the required level.
Yeah, I think it's just the difference. Yeah, I mean, just to jump from that, I don't know. I'm not saying he wouldn't be a good manager. He might come in and do a great job if he was to get it. I just can't see it happening, to be honest.
I mean, I'm going to make this a little bit different, but Zinedine Zidane at Real Madrid.
Was that on the bookies odds?
No, it was like he won 3 Champions Leagues with Madrid without any experience.
True. I thought you meant like he was on the list for getting the job. I was going to say, I mean, Rangers are the biggest club in the world, or one of the biggest clubs in the world. But I can't see Zidane coming there now.
It was taken over France after the World Cup.
Is that confirmed, or was that just a rumour?
I think it's a rumour from what I've gathered.
Right. Who's the current French manager? Is it still what was his name again? Deschamps. I thought so. To be fair, it'll depend who they do at this World Cup.
Probably shout.
Aye.
Things. First person we'll talk about is Kevin Thompson, the Kelly manager.
That's an interesting one.
He's 11-1.
11-1. That's not too bad. Well, saying big Rangers man, obviously playing with us.
Used to do the academy manager.
Yeah, he had his own academy for a bit, I'm sure, and then obviously took over. Yeah, did a really good job at Kelty. Did he got them up, didn't he? Because
got him up then left because I wanted a full-time job or something.
yeah, I think he was linked to the Dundee job, but I don't think it quite fell into place.
Was it not linked the first time round when Gerrard left, or have I made that up?
Not entirely sure, to be honest. I think from what I remember, Gio was definitely like always the one that they wanted, because it was quite a quick turnover. Well, it had to be because Gerrard took, like, I mean, Gerrard's team went with him.
No Graham Murty left either.
Big Graham Murty. He
No.
stepped in. Yeah, he deserves credit. He stepped in during the dark days. Gymnastics expert with his headstands.
This is in no particular order. These these candidates I've found. Maybe this is a controversial one. 14-1 for Michael O'Neill,
Nah,
former Celtic coach.
I can't see that happening.
Yeah, I can have
Is
it.
he? I take it he's just unemployed these days.
Usually a pundit.
I wasn't sure.
Probably doing the World Cup this year. These big specs.
Michael O'Neill.
Yeah.
Did he play for Celtic?
No, managed.
Are you thinking Martin O'Neill?
Maybe.
Martin O'Neill managed Celtic. I don't. Michael
Oh.
O'Neill's.
Northern Ireland.
Yeah, the one that managed Brecon, Shamrock Rovers, Northern Ireland, and Stoke City. He made 2 appearances for Ayr United in 2004. Nah, he never played for Celtic. But I know what you mean. That was Martin O'Neill you're thinking of.
No, this guy's
I don't know. Well, maybe. I think when you said that, I actually thought Martin O'Neill. No, maybe. I don't know. Possibly. Don't really know enough about the guy.
I've written down because I thought it was Martin O'Neill.
Yeah, that would have been a bit too controversial, I think.
Yeah.
Right. Who's next on your list? Your magical list? The stats.
We'll do the favourite, Stevie G.
Right. I was also speaking to the person the other day. I don't want him back. I think with a lot of clubs, you see it. Obviously, Queen's fan as well. Like this obsession with like ex-players getting the jobs. I don't know. I think maybe
Never played.
No. I was meaning like people associated with the club. I know he didn't play for us. This kind of like, I was thinking more of a Queen's perspective, but I mean like looking back and then people being associated with the club. I think we just need a fresh face to come in and do a job, because obviously Gio had links and he was a fan favourite when he played for us. Not that I really remember because I was very young.
Did well for the part.
He did. He was a good player. I just remember him watching the video of him scoring that screamer in the World Cup in 2010.
So he did.
But in terms of Stephen, I don't think it's a good idea. I think he's got to move on. He left, and he had his reasons why he left. So
burnt his bridges.
Yeah, I think he kind of did. I mean, don't get me wrong. What he did for us was amazing. 55 and all that, but I just don't think it's the right thing. But that's just my opinion. Would you take Stephen back?
I don't know. Maybe. Because he kens what he's doing and kens players and.
He does, but the thing that kind of baffles me is that's mainly his team anyway. And how long's he been away for? A year.
11 months.
Yeah, exactly. And all that team's his, apart from a few. Was it 4 million that was invested into that Rid van Yilmaz, and he's played about 3 games, and one of them was against Queens in the Cup.
And Cholak, he's another.
Cholak's been a good signing, to be fair. Cholak has done well, but I just don't understand, why can't we play 2 up front? Why can't we play Morelos and Cholak? But to be honest, what I'm hearing, I think Morelos is going. I mean, I know there's been a bit of like aggro with the fans for a while, but I was reading that there's people tweeting about him yesterday, I think. But obviously the money was offered years ago and we stayed. I don't think there's going to be the same money, but
I meant too late. It's too late.
Yeah.
Well, it's not too late, but we won't get as much.
Yeah, I think at this point we just kind of need some fresh faces. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe new manager, kind of get fresh players, and I don't know because it's hard. But the thing is, it's a really hard time. We're halfway through the season. We're chasing Celtic. You know, what I mean, we can't. You don't want to change too much, but at the same time, we need to change it because it's not working.
Before it gets silly.
Yeah, I mean, I am not looking forward to the next Old Firm after that last one.
Never
We'll
know.
see. We'll see. There's always a possibility. There's always a bit of uncertainty in Scottish football. Right, who's your next name on the list?
Speaking of Stevie G, Michael Beale, 4-1.
I would take Michael. How was that? 4-1, did you say?
4-1, yeah.
I would take Michael Beale, but he's already said that he's committed to QPR because I believe that he was offered the Wolves job.
Southampton.
No, I think there was a bit of both. I'm sure he was offered the Wolves job as well.
Not them, Rangers.
Oh well, I would take him. I think he'd be the right man for the job, but I don't think he'd be silly enough to step back in himself. The now really knows what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, I think he's doing fine at QPR.
Yeah, I think he'll stay there. Maybe in the future. I would definitely take him though. Right.
To finish the trio, Gary McAllister.
See, that's interesting. I take it
Excellent.
did he leave Aston Villa with Gerrard? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm assuming so. I don't know. He's never really had any managerial, like, I know he's been the assistant, but I don't think has he actually been a manager?
Don't think so.
Obviously, when Walter retired, like left the last time, Ali took over and he was assistant.
He managed Leeds back in the day.
2008 and Coventry before that.
And Villa's a caretaker.
I didn't realise that he was the caretaker and assistant at Villa before Rangers and then after. I knew after, obviously.
Got experience.
Yeah, true. It would be a decent shout. I mean, he's been behind the scenes. A lot of the times you find them as the assistant manager, not doing the work, but you know what I mean, maybe more behind the scenes while the manager's the face. You know, when they take the media and maybe take the team talks, but it's a lot of the assistant manager's doing a lot of the work.
They said that with Gerrard when Beale left to go QPR.
Yeah, I was listening in an interview once, and they were saying like, you find back in the day it was a lot of the manager never actually coached. They just they were like I say, was a face for it. They were like the scary one that you respected, and then his background staff did the coaching. But I think a lot of days the more modern managers take a more hands-on approach. But I don't know. It'd be a shout. I definitely wouldn't say it would be a bad appointment. I just can't see it happening in my eyes.
This is the first one when it sparked all. Sean Dyche 8-1.
Right, this is interesting because when I first seen it, I thought that would be quite good. But I'm not sure if the style of play suits Rangers, but maybe that's what we need, a new style of play. Very, a term here, I don't know how good the phrase is, but Brexit football. Very, I'm kind of route one from what I watched, but I don't watch much of the English Premier League, to be honest.
They kept them up for so long. Can't be bad.
He did, and I didn't really agree with him getting sacked at the time, but there was obviously they went down in the end.
Yeah, that's why.
But British manager might be good just to get him in. I don't know. I see he was linked with a few jobs.
We've got another. This is a big one. Rafa Benitez 16-1.
It's never going to happen, is it? In my eyes, can't see it happening. But it would be a good appointment. Experienced Champions League winner at Liverpool. He won it at Real, did he not?
It's Liverpool.
Did he manage? He manage Real? Didn't he?
Yeah, for about 4 months.
Did he? I thought it was longer than that.
Because he didn't do very well.
Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. But yeah, and obviously, he won it at Liverpool. So he's managed quite a few.
Newcastle.
He started off at Real Madrid with under 17s, and he was assistant, and then he was the Real Madrid Castilla, like the B team.
Mhm.
Then Valladolid, then Osasuna, then I've never heard of this team before. Extremadura? God, I've probably butchered that one. Tenerife, Valencia, Liverpool, obviously, Inter Milan. Then he was at interim at Chelsea, remember that? Then Napoli, then Real, then Newcastle, then some team from China,
Dalian.
Dalian, and then obviously very controversial, went to Everton.
I think it was just getting relegated,
Probably didn't work, but
being a big copy.
yeah, it kind of. I mean, I kind of was confused at the time. Obviously Liverpool, but I suppose I know they don't like each other, but maybe the hatred isn't as strong as the old firm.
Money talks.
Yeah, very very true. But obviously, I think it's a bit too unrealistic. You know, the stature of the club, but at the same time, it's Scottish football at the end of the day, and people look down on it. I just can't see it happening.
Worked for Brendan Rodgers to get his sale back on track.
Yeah, and it did actually, and I would say, to a certain degree, it bumped up Gerrard, got him to the level he wanted. Then he got his Premier League gig. I think he left too early, just my opinion. But at the same time, as much as we're saying maybe Gio out, I don't think that Gerrard maybe would have made it to the Europa League final. I think that Gio's kind of more direct attacking football worked, taking it to the likes of Dortmund, scudding them. Was it 4-1 in Germany?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's quite controversial because obviously I know we're discussing possible replacements. He might not go. He might stay.
Yeah.
Depends. I can't right now. I can't see the board paying him off. In terms of money, speaking about money, obviously a lot of the clubs are publishing their finances, and I saw a lot of Rangers fans complaining actually about where's all the money gone. But I believe that Bassey and Aribo and those fees were pushed onto next year's finances. But we're still in profit this year.
Didn't fucking spend it then.
Very true. I see Hearts made profit as well, which is good. So,
Got 3 names left.
right, go on.
Don't know who to start with. Do this guy. How do you say it? Cage Till Knutson.
Oh, is he the one that Bodø Glimt?
Aye.
I've seen his name linked a lot actually, and it's not someone that I know a lot about.
I think it was favourite before Gio was.
Yeah, I knew the name was definitely thrown in there. Maybe I don't know. He's doing well. I think Bodø Glimt are doing well in the league, are they not? I could be wrong.
I think they're shit hot at home in Europe when they scurried Roma.
Yeah, beat Celtic as well. Because I just remember seeing a video on Twitter, and Joe Hart was wearing a full tracksuit underneath.
Up here like
But I suppose they're not like Arctic Circle, so
something like that. They're like Norway.
yeah. He's 54. I thought he was a wee bit younger. Yeah, managed a few teams.
I'm sure they've got Haaland's like best pal or something in their team.
I'm not sure. Norwegian.
Oh, what's his name? He was linked to them before. Fucking name. You get it when you hear it. Bear with.
Oh, it's fine. If it comes back to you, we can. Like you say, maybe it would be good to come in and with his European record. But to be honest, I don't really know that much about him. Maybe something to look into for a future episode discussion.
Yeah, Eric Botheim.
Yes. Oh, right. I remember him because I followed him on Instagram thinking that he was going to come, and then he didn't.
He used to play for them in 2021.
Because he went to
Russia, then Italy, because Russia did.
Yeah, because the Russian that fell apart. I didn't realise.
That video. Haaland and somebody else.
Yeah. Oh right, aye. Aye, so don't really know much about him to be honest. I probably should do some more research. So move on. What's your next one? There's just the 2 left. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you can this guy, Kevin Muscat.
Not gonna lie, don't know this one either.
I mean, because apparently he's had the same path as Ange Postecoglou.
I've
Same,
just got him up here.
same, is it Yokohama Mariners and
Yeah, Marino, and then
some Australian team?
yeah, Crystal Palace in '96, Wolves '97. Oh, he played for Rangers.
Heard the name, but
I thought I recognised the name. He played 22 times in 2002, 2003. Then was it Millwall? Then he went back to Australia.
well, Millwall
He's
first.
managed. He's managed. He was caretaker at Melbourne. Then took the manager's job since Truden. I don't know.
Belgian, Dutch,
Dutch, yeah. And then he's currently the Yokohama manager. Because is that not who Ange came from to go to Celtic? Did you say?
Yeah, it's had the same path, Australia and Japan, and maybe Scotland.
Yeah. So sorry, I'm showing that I don't really
He's-
know much about him.
He's 6-1.
It's quite low. So who is the bookie's favourite? Did you say Gerrard?
Gerrard, then Beale,
What's Gerrard? Well, Beale was 4-1. What was Gerrard? 3?
2-1.
2. Jeez.
That's on several different bookies as well. So,
I mean, yeah, he definitely. I mean, from Twitter and that, you can see his favourite. I just don't think it's a good idea. But fair play. Right, who's your last one? Let's hope I know this one.
He's an outside shot at 33-1.
Oh, high odds
know.
here.
I ken the exact answer is going to be fuck off. Neil Lennon.
Aye, away, wrap that.
He was 33-1.
It's not going to happen, is it? No, I'm not even going to bite to that one. I like I said in the last episode, heard the fishing rod going out there.
No, it's not fishing for me, it's fishing for the bookies.
Yeah. Aye.
There was one.
I don't know.
I've seen another one, but let me go.
What are you going to say?
No, I've seen another name, but I didn't want to put him in. But I'll just talk about him anyway. It was Chris Wilder.
I suppose, yeah. He was alright at Sheffield, didn't it? He's got them up.
It was alright. Did get him relegated as well, though.
Yeah, he did, but was he very much like built? I was talking to someone about him once. Built them up from what they were.
Yeah, like Eddie Howe did with Bournemouth.
Yeah, got them up, and then basically they've now got investment, and yeah, it's one of these things, isn't it? It's the curse. Well, not curse, but maybe a curse of modern day football. It's all about money.
He was 16-1 as well.
16. That's not. Oh, I thought you would have mentioned him actually. I mean, I think he's kind of in the same bracket as Dyche. Really is. I mean, English manager. You could take a gamble on him.
Looking to rebound.
Yeah. Also, one way to look at it is, I know we're looking at these names now. Maybe a few sketchy World Cup performances might free up a few managers, but I can't really think of any off the top of my head who would obviously lose the sack and then go straight into a job. But you know, it's a thing to think about. But it depends. Like I say, Gio might be here at the end of the season. You never know.
I was going to say Dean Smith, but he's at Norwich. He's another one of those players. Fucking players, managers.
Aye. Oh, we'll see.
Southgate could get the job after a ropey performance.
We'll see. I've spoke to a few England fans, and they think this is the competition to do badly and get rid of Southgate. I mean, their point was that with a very, very attacking English team, I mean, they're one of the best attacks, so let's not lie about it, that they still play 5 at the back and play quite defensive.
They have a good attack. Bar Kane, they don't have.
I would say the likes of Sterling and such.
This season's just been quite rotten.
I know, but he's like a lot of players turn up on the internationals.
Foden's alright. Grealish is poo.
I saw that Madison got injured in one of the last games for Leicester, but I don't know if I think he still travelled.
He's still there because that photo of him in the.
Oh, he didn't actually call. Actually, yeah, I did see that.
That's all my folk out.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head if I could think of anyone else, but there was a boy, there was an Italian. I'm sure I saw linked, but can't remember his name.
Well, you've got all the usual former players and championship folk getting stepped up, like a Davy Martin.
That's what I'm saying. That I don't think ex-players or ex-people associated with the club, I just don't think is a good idea. You see it, like I said earlier, see it at Queen's. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
I mean, they've got the
Well, did
passion
the
about.
yeah, but I don't know. I mean, as much as I really like Gio as a person and as an ex-player and all that, there's no passion at the minute. There's no identity to that football, and for considering him and his team are all Dutch, I mean, you expected it. I expected a wee bit of investment into some Dutch players maybe,
I
but
mean, they were linked with
it's
Xavi Simons, who
yeah.
were
And then he
were-
played against us. Played against us for PSV. But that's also the thing, right? We went from beating a very very good PSV side in the like obviously the playoff round to then getting absolutely scudded for 6 games.
to be fair, that group was quite hard.
Oh yeah, it was brick, and I definitely didn't think we were. I was hoping for Europa League, but we should have done better than we did.
But like, who were they supposed to beat? Because there's no real weak
I
team.
know, but a lot of people, I mean, including myself, looking at that group before, we didn't expect Napoli to be the best team.
They got quite a good team, like a good up and coming young team.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I mean, in terms of looking at a standout, you would have looked at Liverpool and thought they'd been the favourites.
Well, Ajax would have been the team to get a result from,
Yeah, that's what I thought, to be honest.
but they made absolute mints of them.
I know, but it's just one of these things. So, I mean, maybe one upside to that is obviously not playing as many games. Maybe get a better system going and try and pull the league back. But I don't know. But Celtic are also in the same boat because they're out as well, and Hearts are out as well.
Still got the cups to fight for.
Mm.
I don't know who they got in the Betfred Tunnocks tea cake.
No, the Tunnocks tea cakes the wee Diddy one.
So it is.
Betfred, I can't remember. Was that Aberdeen?
Can't
Is
kick
that
it,
Rangers
Jelly Bean.
Aberdeen? Yes, exactly.
I can't mind.
I'm sure Rangers got Aberdeen. I'm not sure what the Scottish Cup's looking like.
It's not Dundee. They got.
No, they beat them in the last round.
Did they? There you go.
I could be absolutely wrong here in making an arse of myself, but no. Aye, so that's quite a interesting conversation, I would say.
A lot of discussion to be made on it.
Yeah, it's weird not having Greg here.
He would have.
He'd
So-
have some strong opinions. Maybe need to have a wee brief 5 minutes at the start of next week's and
5 minutes. We
have
can
him
half an hour.
talking about it. Aye, true. That'll be our 3-hour special. Right.
Live stream. Yes, Aberdeen.
Aye. So I don't really want to talk about the predictions from last week. I kind of really did mess it up. I can announce the scores. If I could find the right piece of paper. So last week, the results are in.
Dun, dun, dun.
That was maybe a drum roll. It was kind of like a continuous beat. Anyway, in last place is Robert with 3. I did terrible, and you two drew. You got 5 each.
I tried to clap, but it
She's-
didn't work.
Hmm?
I tried to clap, but
You probably deafen them. I'll need to turn it down for that bit. Yep, so I got 3 and Kyle and Greg got 5. So obviously this week it was a bit different with the World Cup break. There's not as many games on, so we have picked... Sorry, Kyle picked this week, so I'll need to pick next week. We have picked 10 games. Inverness versus Ayr United is the first one. Wraith versus Queen's Park is the second. Then it is Ayr Unions versus Kelty. Then FC Edinburgh versus Alloa. We're missing out the Queen's game this week
after last
because
week.
I don't. Yeah, we obviously will support Queens, but I don't want to talk about last week. It still hurts. Then another local team, Annan versus Elgin. Then Housemuir versus Bonnyrigg. Salford versus Carlisle. Bristol versus Peterhead. Peterhead? Oh, come on. Peterborough. Peterhead, Jesus. Right, and going international, Gateshead versus Southend, and then that's one of the wild cards. But to be fair, there is no wild cards. We're kind of just going here, aren't we? This is more of a. The last one is a bit of a wild card. We're looking at the Women's Premier League, Everton versus Manchester City.
It's called the Super League.
Well, I just assumed it was the Premier League. Apologies, the WSL.
Thank you.
I'm still trying to recover from from Bristol versus Peterhead.
I thought I'd pick a women's game. Keep it all fresh.
Imagine the trek from Peterhead to Bristol.
Jesus,
Right.
leave
So,
yesterday.
well, Eats Everything and Fatboy Slim made a song called Brighton to Bristol, so maybe we could remix it.
Brighton to Bristol. That's like a stone's throw, isn't it? Not really that.
No, Brighton's down the bottom. Bristol's by Wales, by Cardiff.
It's in Wales, isn't it?
I don't know if you should even go into this.
Maybe
So,
another day.
throwback. No, I'm going for it. Throwback. Magaluf. Picture the scenes. Hungover. In the pool.
Just floating.
I don't even know how... No, we're talking about Tom Jones, I think. Which is a strange topic, but...
For a lad's holiday.
We move. Yeah, a lad's holiday with just two of us. But, no, it was good.
Longest week of my life.
Tell me about it. My arms were very weak from having to carry his food in from the restaurant because he refused to put a top on and go in. But that's a different story.
Getting that tan.
I know. Right, so talking about Tom Jones, how was Bristol brought up?
Because I thought he was from Bristol.
Anyway, we had an argument in the swimming pool for about a good 15 minutes whether Bristol was in England or Wales. And let's just say
England.
Shut up! We didn't. You said it was in Wales. Kel was adamant that it was in Wales. Anyway, to set the scene, there was a group of it was like a Hindu, but they were like older, wasn't it?
Right.
Next to us, and all they can hear, well, hi, the 50-year-old. All you can hear is me shouting, "It's in England!" And they backed me up. It was in England.
So they did.
Right. Aye. Well, the point was you don't hear Tom Jones. I'm from Bristol.
But you do.
Right. Let's move on because I'm getting annoyed now.
He's not
Right.
unusual.
Gregory has sent in his predictions, so I'll read them out as well. Do you want to read the games out, Kyle, and I can?
Yeah. Inverness v Ayr United.
Right. Let me get my notes. Sorry.
I'll start just to save this awkward silence. I'll put a draw.
Sorry. Right.
Draw.
You put a draw. Gregory has put Ayr, and I have also put Ayr.
Oh.
We can put it into the spreadsheet later on.
Next is Wraith Rovers v Queen's Park.
Right. I have put Wraith Rovers. Greg has put a draw.
I've got Wraith Rovers to win.
Snap.
Crackle and pop. Ayr
Right.
Unions v Kelty Hearts.
Me and Greg have agreed on this one as we have both put Airdrie to win.
Make that 3. I have Airdrie.
Triple threat.
This next
We're
one
not really discussing these. This is kind of just...
we do.
Greg's the man. Greg's the man for current form and such. We're just gonna
Well,
predict. I mean, there's no point in me talking about it because I got 3 last week, so I think I'll just make an arse myself again.
I picked this one because it is a good kind of form-based game. Edinburgh v Alloa. Edinburgh, who are about second in the league. Alloa, off the back of 5-1s, hammering. So keep it a good game.
So because of that 5-1 hammering, I think Alloa will have the confidence, and I've put Alloa to win.
Obviously, I've put a draw because Edinburgh home team play like high in the league. Alloa good form, so maybe like a 2-2.
Greg has also put a draw.
Then next one, Annan Elgin. Annan good form as of late. Elgin again sort of second in the league, but I've edged Annan.
I have put a draw, and Greg has put a draw as well.
And next up,
sorry. So I was going to say, just to confirm, I did do these before I read his, in case there's any allegations of cheating going on. But to be honest, I need all the help I can get.
Heard that all before.
Yes. So I'm just the way. Sorry, I should have done this when we started this segment. They both get a point each, and then by the end of the season we'll count up the points. So I'm on nil points and they're on 1 because they drew. Sorry, continue.
You're British. Next is Stenhousemuir v Bonnyrigg Rose. I'll let you go first.
Me and Greg have both. No, have we both?
I don't know. You got in front.
No, sorry. Who? This is Bonnyrigg versus
Stenny.
Stenny. I put Stenny. Greg's put Bonnyrigg.
Well, I've put Stenny as well, just because Bonnyrigg have only won like 2 games all season.
Yeah, I think he might not agree. I think he's maybe just went for a kind of short result.
Or he didn't, he
Or-
just rushed it.
Yeah, or to be fair, he's on his holidays and he's sending predictions in, so fair play to him. Currently in New York. Wish I was there. Yeah, well, no, he's not going to give up points, is he? He's one of the most competitive people I know.
He's the 3rd pint.
I know, and we've just got 2 today.
Technically, he's a pint with a shot glass. Right,
Aye, to be fair.
Salford v Carlisle.
Was this Greg's put draw?
We'll see.
I've put Carlisle just because got a wee soft spot for them.
That's what I did, and I kind of just blitzed through these as quick as I could. But Salford,
Yeah, I'm not really. I don't know if form or anything. I've just went. I like Carlisle, so
I just based Salford on the fact they've got like class of '92 money.
yeah, that's a good point. To be fair, I never really thought about that.
But they seem quite stagnant in League One, so I don't know. Anyway, next up is Bristol Rovers v Peterhead.
Right, if you make one mistake, and that comes back to bite me. Right, Peterborough. I've put Peterborough, and Greg's put Peterborough.
Me too, because they won yesterday in the cup.
I did think that was my only reasoning. Right, next game.
Gateshead versus your 3rd team, Southend.
Yes, due to the girlfriend's family. I'm a Southend fan. Yeah, I picked Southend. I went and watched them against. I don't know if I brought this up last week. Probably did. I'll probably bring it up a lot because it was something different. I went and watched Southend away to York, and they were very impressive, actually. Well, I say that. Sorry.
Take the reins.
Yes, they were good. They weren't quite full pelt, but 2-0. You couldn't really argue. Even though they weren't at their best, they still played well. So I'm just going to Southend. They're in a good run of form. Got a draw against Notts County, who I think are top or were top.
I think it's Southend because I just think they're better.
Yeah. Seasiders.
What did Greg say? Did he say Southend?
Oh, sorry, I forgot about Greg. Just take this point off him. It doesn't matter. Give us a chance. No, he put Southend as well.
Give you a chance. I'm sitting top of the league.
Aye, joint.
But alphabetical order.
And I saw a bit of away goals and Greg's in New York, so. Right, last game.
Is Everton women v Man City women.
I picked.
Wait, sorry. They've missed a chance to be called Womanchester City.
I quite like that one. That was good. I've went and looked at the table and Man City. I picked Man City, and so is Greg.
Oh, I think Man City have got like more players than the England squad, so I based it on that. I could be wrong. I usually am.
Yeah, we both went Man City.
Me 3.
So I would say we're quite similar in our predictions today. I've seen on Twitter. I see that Celtic got beat in the Sydney Cup by Sydney. Funnily enough,
That could have been Rangers.
could have been. I'm glad it wasn't. That was another catastrophe at the start of the season, wasn't it? I've just realised we completely ran over the fact that we had a poll on Twitter and Instagram regarding the Gio situation that I forgot to mention.
It came in my head,
So
but I still forgot.
Let's wind it back. So just for a bit of context, put a poll up, and it was captioned "A lot of Rangers fans calling for Van Bronckhorst to go. Gio in or Gio out?" And we had quite a few responses, and it was a 50-50, so that didn't really help our conversational point. Very, like we said earlier on, It could go either way, and it was bang on 50-50. We had one reply from a Celtic fan account who said that he should be given a 5-year contract. So I think we can see his stance on the situation.
Not saying anything bad, but that could be obsession kicking in.
Yes,
But we
didn't want to say it.
Controversial, sorry.
Yeah.
The Insta poll has got a deciding vote.
Oh, because it was a draw. It was a draw when we looked. Like before it ended, it was a draw. So right, go for it. Deciding vote.
I think the Insta poll goes on forever. Could be wrong. Anyway, it is 45-55 in favour
Very
of
staunch.
Gio out.
I thought it was. I was expecting it to be Gio in.
45 for in, 55 for out.
And that's very staunch. That number.
Maybe it's a sign.
Maybe. Well, could be a sign. Will he survive the international break? Who knows? So yeah, it's been a good conversation actually. Been able to get a word in. I'm only joking. I'm looking forward to having Greg back next week. So yes, please give us a follow on Twitter or Instagram if you so wish to do so. It would be much appreciated. And check out last week's episode if you get a chance. 3 Pints and a Clean Sheet on Spotify.
And there's links on the Twitter and...
Yes, we're getting all tech savvy now and trying to link everything up and such. But yes, the link is on. The link is to the Anchor, and then it will take you to Spotify if that's better. Most of our listeners were on Spotify. Say that again, sorry.
It'd be easier just going via Twitter to Spotify.
Yeah, I would say so. Best.
Because we're not working out how to do link shit.
Yeah, we're still working on hyperlinks and such. You know, we're not getting carried away. But yes, much appreciated for anyone listening today. Been a good episode. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you for having me, even though...
We didn't having you. It's our podcast.
Yeah, I know. As soon as I said it.
Hopefully we'll have some guests in the future. We were trying to schedule one in for this week, but a clash in timetables didn't quite work out.
Well, hopefully Greg's back.
Yeah, Greg will be back from his Holly Bobs next week. I can't remember what day he gets home. He'll be back next week, I'm sure he said he would be.
Saturday, didn't he?
When does the World Cup start? Sunday. Yeah, he gets back on Saturday. I'm sure he said it was the day before. That's why we did the predictions last week.
It's Qatar v Ecuador, 4 o'clock kickoff.
I seen a wee controversial thing on Twitter, and I was saying the person had said that they wouldn't be surprised if Qatar paid off Ecuador to get the win for the first game, obviously.
Said that last week.
Did we?
I said that. I said they should pay all the refs.
I know, but I just meant like opening game. We'll see.
I mean, that's the game they're going to win, if any.
Yeah. Just get flashbacks to 2010 when South Africa won.
Shabalala!
Yeah, I was going to do that, but I couldn't remember how to pronounce his name and I didn't want to butcher it. I've already had enough with Bristol versus Peterhead.
It's like Amarillo. Shabalala. Anyway.
Yeah, so if you... Sorry?
It was your bad singing last week. Mine's this week.
Yeah, what, we've went from A Flock of Seagulls to Tony Christie. It's up to Greg next week then. He'll just sing some Welsh song. To be fair, he was...
Bristol.
He was on the verge of it last week. He'll just be permanent in World Cup fever.
Well, we can recap the World Cup and whatever
Yep.
been played by the time.
Any other topics and such? If there's anything you would like to see, give us a shout. Or see, it's a podcast. Hear is what I meant.
Listen,
hear.
Hear
Just utilise all the senses while we're at it.
Smell, taste.
The 3 Pints and a Clean Sheet 4D cinematic experience.
Get a pint of Foster's all over you.
Well, aye, that's all over my monitor now. Right, I think we're going to end it here. So thank you very much.
Cheerio.
What was that? Right. See you now then.